January is the month most people underestimate. Many gardeners believe January is a slow, empty month, a time to wait, observe, and do nothing. But that belief quietly steals weeks of growth, early harvests, and one of the most important advantages a gardener can have, a head start. While others are waiting for the year to begin, the smartest gardeners are already planting. And the truth is, there are plants that don't just tolerate January conditions, they actually thrive in them. Welcome back to Daily Plant Life, where we grow smarter, grow ahead of time, and turn every season into an opportunity. If you want to start this year with stronger plants, earlier harvests, and a garden that stays productive from the very beginning, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 new plants you should grow in January, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why January isn't the end of gardening. It's the quiet beginning of success. Let's get into it. Plant number 1 is celery, a plant that immediately separates rushed gardeners from patient ones. Celery does not reward speed, but it deeply rewards early attention. January is the perfect time to start celery because the plant needs a long, calm growing window. When planted early, celery uses the cool conditions to focus entirely on root development, and those roots determine everything that comes later. Celery seeds are tiny and slow, which is why they need consistent moisture and gentle handling. The soil should never dry out completely, but it should also never be flooded. As the seedlings emerge, they grow cautiously, building strength rather than height. January conditions prevent celery from stretching or weakening, allowing thick, sturdy stalks to form naturally. As weeks pass, the plant becomes more confident, leaves widen, and stems thicken. Gardeners who plant celery later often struggle with stringy stalks and bitter flavor, but January-grown celery matures slowly, producing crisp texture and clean taste. The reward comes later, but the foundation is built now, quietly and correctly. One mistake many beginners make with celery is inconsistent watering, and January planting helps reduce that risk because evaporation is slower. Mulching lightly around young celery plants keeps moisture stable and prevents sudden stress. As the plant matures, thicker stalks are a direct result of the calm, uninterrupted early growth period. Celery responds well to a light side dressing of compost in mid-January, which boosts overall plant vigor. Keeping the surrounding soil loose encourages straight, uniform stalks and reduces the risk of splitting. Plant number 2 is chives, one of the most forgiving yet underestimated edible plants you can grow. Chives thrive in January because they are naturally adapted to cooler conditions. When planted early, chives focus on anchoring themselves into the soil, forming dense root systems that support constant regrowth. Seeds or divisions are planted into loose soil with good drainage, and once established, chives become almost independent. January planting gives them time to settle without competition, allowing leaves to grow evenly and upright. Each harvest encourages new growth rather than exhaustion, which makes chives one of the most productive plants over time. Their flavor remains mild and balanced in cool weather, avoiding the harshness that heat can bring. As the season progresses, January-planted chives grow thicker, greener, and more resilient, proving that simple plants often give the most reliable rewards. Chives respond especially well to gentle trimming rather than aggressive cutting, which keeps growth continuous. January-grown chives develop deeper color and stronger aroma compared to those planted later in warmer months. Allowing some plants to flower also attracts beneficial insects without reducing overall harvest. Chives naturally repel some garden pests, making them a small but valuable companion plant. Planting in clusters improves airflow, which helps prevent fungal diseases during damp January weather. Plant number 3 is chicory, a plant that benefits enormously from restraint and timing. Chicory prefers cool soil because it allows the plant to develop slowly, preventing bitterness and tough leaves. January planting gives chicory space to grow without pressure. Seeds are sown directly and lightly covered, then watered gently to maintain even moisture. As chicory grows, Its energy is split between leafy growth above ground and root development below, creating balance. Cool temperatures allow leaves to stay tender while roots strengthen steadily. Pests are minimal during this period, so growth remains clean and uninterrupted. Over time, chicory becomes fuller and more confident, producing consistent harvests with better texture and flavor. Gardeners who plant chicory later often rush its growth, but January planting allows the plant to express its best qualities naturally. Chicory leaves harvested young are noticeably more tender than mature leaves grown under heat. Early planting also reduces competition from weeds, giving chicory uninterrupted access to nutrients. The plant's deep roots improve soil structure over time, benefiting nearby crops. Chicory leaves benefit from occasional gentle shading in bright midday sun to prevent scorching. Its deep roots can help break compacted soil, improving conditions for nearby crops. Plant number 4 is cress, a plant that brings immediate life to a quiet garden. Cress is one of the fastest edible plants available, and January conditions keep its growth controlled rather than rushed. Seeds are scattered lightly over moist soil and require very little effort to germinate. Because temperatures are cooler, cress grows evenly, producing soft, tender leaves rather than thin, stressed ones. January planting prevents cress from bolting too quickly, allowing repeated harvests. It thrives in small spaces, containers, and shallow beds, making it perfect for gardeners who want visible results early in the year. The fast growth of cress boosts confidence and keeps the garden feeling active while slower plants establish themselves. Cress thrives when harvested frequently, as cutting stimulates fresh, tender regrowth. January conditions prevent legginess, keeping leaves compact and flavorful. Because it matures so quickly, cress fills the gap, while slower crops establish themselves. Cress can also be grown in shallow trays indoors if outdoor conditions are too cold. Its quick growth makes it perfect for filling empty spaces in the garden while other crops are still developing. Plant number 5 is sorrel, a plant that quietly rewards early planting. Sorrel prefers cool, moist conditions and uses January to establish strong roots that support long-term production. When planted early, sorrel develops balanced growth, producing leaves with a clean, lemony flavor instead of sharp bitterness. The plant grows steadily rather than aggressively, which keeps leaves tender. January planting allows sorrel to become resilient before heat arrives, reducing stress and slowing bolting. Over time, sorrel becomes one of the most dependable greens in the garden, offering consistent harvests with minimal effort. Sorrel planted in January adapts better to its location, reducing transplant shock later. Its flavor stays balanced longer when it avoids early heat exposure. Once established, sorrel quietly produces leaves for months with minimal intervention. Sorrel attracts beneficial insects that support other early crops. Pruning older leaves encourages new, tender growth and helps the plant stay productive longer. Plant number 6 is mache, also known as corn salad, a plant perfectly suited to January's calm conditions. Mache grows slowly but reliably, and that slow pace is its strength. When planted in January, mache uses the cool weather to develop dense, soft leaves with excellent texture. Seeds are sown directly and kept moist until germination. Once established, mache requires little intervention, growing steadily even when other plants hesitate. January planting allows uninterrupted growth, producing nutritious greens during a time when fresh harvests are rare. Its gentle growth habit makes it ideal for gardeners who appreciate quiet consistency over speed. Mache benefits from close spacing, which protects young plants from temperature fluctuations. January planting allows leaves to develop slowly, improving texture and nutritional density. The plant's low growth habit also helps conserve soil moisture naturally. Mache tolerates frost well, so even a cold snap in January won't harm established plants. The plant's gentle, rosette-like growth habit naturally shades the soil, reducing water loss. Plant number 7 is escarole, a leafy plant that truly prefers cool weather to perform well. January planting allows escarole to establish strong roots before leaf expansion begins. Seeds are planted shallowly, and consistent moisture supports even germination. As escarole grows, cool temperatures keep leaves broad and less bitter. The plant develops steadily, filling space without becoming stressed. Early planting also extends the harvest window, allowing gardeners to enjoy escarole before rising temperatures change its character. January gives escarole the calm environment it needs to reach its full potential. Escarole grown in cooler weather forms thicker leaves with better structure. Early planting reduces the risk of premature bolting later in the season. Gentle, steady watering keeps the leaves crisp rather than tough. Escarole can be grown as part of a mixed salad patch to maximize space efficiency. Its large leaves also act as a natural cover for smaller seedlings nearby. Plant number 8 is cardoon, a bold plant that demands time and rewards patience. Cardoon needs early planting because it grows large and benefits from uninterrupted establishment. January planting allows roots to deepen while top growth remains controlled. Seeds are started in fertile soil and kept evenly moist. Cool weather prevents stress and encourages balanced development. As weeks pass, the plant gains strength, preparing for thick, edible stalks later in the season. Cardoon is not fast, but January planting makes success possible by giving it the time it requires. Cardoon's early root growth determines how thick and tender the stalks become later. January planting allows the plant to gain strength without exhausting itself. With enough space, cardoon becomes a striking and productive feature in the garden. Cardoon benefits from staking or support in windy areas to prevent breakage. Mulching around the base protects young roots and keeps soil temperature steady. Plant number 9 is garlic chives, a plant that combines beauty, flavor, and reliability. Garlic chives thrive when planted early because they establish roots before rapid leaf production begins. Seeds or divisions are planted into loose soil and watered regularly during early growth. January planting ensures steady development and faster regrowth after harvesting. As the season progresses, garlic chives become thicker and more productive, offering consistent harvests without demanding care. Early planting sets the rhythm for long-term success. Garlic chives planted early recover faster after each harvest. Cool weather growth keeps the flavor mild instead of overpowering. Over time, established clumps become more productive with very little extra care. Allowing garlic chives to grow near other herbs can improve overall garden flavor combinations. The plant's clumps also act as living mulch, reducing evaporation in the soil. Plant number 10 is scallop squash, a plant that benefits greatly from an early, protected start. When planted in January under cover, scallop squash establishes strong vines before pests and competition increase. Seeds are planted carefully into warm, well-drained soil and watered lightly to prevent rot. Early growth focuses on root strength, which later supports flowering and fruiting. January planting allows gardeners to harvest earlier and avoid peak pest pressure. The advantage isn't just speed, but control and timing. Early planting allows scallop squash to flower before pest populations peak. Strong roots formed in January support better fruit development later. Protected early growth often leads to earlier and more consistent harvests. Scallop squash vines can be gently guided along low trellises to save space and improve airflow. Early flowers often signal a strong season ahead if the plant is healthy and well watered. January is not a pause, it's a preparation. Every plant you grow now is learning the environment, strengthening its roots, and setting itself up for success long before pressure arrives. Gardening isn't about rushing the season, it's about understanding it. If you found value in this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share your experience in the comments. Tell me which of these plants you're growing this January, and keep growing with Daily Plant Life, where every season matters and every plant has a purpose.